Welcome back, adventurer. I see you want to hear more of the tale I named the Sorrow of Rook-Wing. Well, take a seat with me by the fire and I shall continue. So do you remember who our brave adventurers are? Matthew is playing as his Dragonborn warrior called Korin. Ted is playing as his human ranger called Frost. Tom is playing as his Tiefling Warlock called Temerity. And Cameron is playing as his human Cleric called Pavel. So, where did we leave off last time? Ah yes, I remember. Our party of brave heroes had fought their way through hordes of skeletons and a water elemental through the icy caverns before coming to a long staircase that led towards a large, ornate black door. The large black door had carvings of a great war between the four elements and the four planes that divide them. The party rested for a few minutes, regaining their breath before preparing to leave the freezing cold cavern and into the dungeon where the chaos flame lay somewhere beneath. Upon entering through the door, they saw that indeed it was a secret door, as it led straight through what looked like a wall. Inside the room they entered were more ornate carvings of this great war between the elements, with a large gaping fireplace at the end of the room that the fire spewed out of. But this was not the Flame of Chaos. Surprised to see them were 4 Chaos Warriors and a skeleton archer up on a ledge above the fireplace. The party charged into battle, Korin's sword blazing with hatred while arrows broke apart as they hit his shield. She charged into the fray, drawing the attention of all the Chaos Warriors, of whom she started blocking, parrying and riposting as many attacks as she could. The archer turned its attention to Cameron, but before anything could be done, an arrow fired by Frost punctured its skull, followed by an eldritch blast from Temerity to finish it off. Pavel wove a holy flame in an attempt to pick off one of the Chaos Warriors that slowly surrounded Korin, and it worked perfectly. The Chaos Warrior was surrounded in a divine flame that burnt his skin and blackened his soul. Frost charged in with her sword, and soon the other Chaos Warriors lay dead at their feet. Korin had sustained a nasty few cuts, but Pavel bandaged them, and they pressed onwards without too much haste. After all, the Flame of Chaos was only spawning more Warriors of Chaos, and the Lord Protector of Uthros and his army could only hold back the Scourge for so long before they would be overrun. They followed the numerous hallways around before coming to another large ornate black door twice the size of the last one. Opposite the door, on the other side of the room, was a roaring fire that took up the entire wall space, and out of this fire the adventurers were met with a horrifying sight. A displacer beast walked from it, and as soon as it had appeared, it had disappeared in front of them. Its 8 legs enabled its speeds unimaginable to man. Its fangs and claws could pierce through the strongest of steel if given enough power behind them, and its ability to displace itself in the real world made it very hard to kill. The group cleverly formed a square covering each and every direction. The beast first showed itself in front of Frost, but it became visible during a leap and knocked her to the ground. She raised her fists in a cross shape, holding the beast's head back, though it was stronger than her, and its head got near to hers with every snap of its jaws. Korin was the first to act, kicking the beast off her before lunging with her sword. It made contact and caused the beast a nasty cut, but it was only angered. It swiped with as many legs as it could at Korin, a few hitting her shield but others slashing through her legs. Pavel, out of nowhere, charged with his mace, the Winter's Light, and hit the beast as hard as he could, imbuing the Winter's Light with as much holy force as he could. The beast was taken by surprise, making the injury that much more painful. It was forced back, out of fear or hatred we'll never know, but it displaced once more. Before they could even take a breath, it re-emerged and pounced onto Korin's back. It bit into her shoulder, clawed at her back and tore off bits of armour here and there. She fell to the floor, helpless as the beast drew more and more blood. Temerity fired another eldritch blast at the beast, knocking it flying, and as it stood, an arrow landed between its eyes, and it fell dead. Pavel ran to Korin, her body almost limp. The pain was unbearable, and everybody could see how much she was suffering, but Pavel would not let a companion die. Not here, not to these Warriors of Chaos. He raised his amulet and shouted a prayer as loud as his lungs could manage, and light surged from his amulet onto Korin. She was lifted up by a force unknown to her, and when she found herself standing, she felt no pain whatsoever. Her cuts were healed, her armour repaired, and her pain relieved. Pavel's god had heard him this time, though the next time might not be so fortunate, he noted. The party was in awe, but decided not to speak of the event until after their mission had been completed. They charged through the black door, ready to face what was there, and there across the narrow stone bridge was a flame hovering in the air as large as the door they had charged through. It was the yellow of the sun in the centre, burned with the red of blood on the outside of its flame, but the light it emitted was a deep red, almost purple colour. And guarding the flame was a lamb of chaos, a monster 3 times the size of Korin, the tallest member of the group. Its head was that of a goat, but its body was scaly and green, leading down to his 4 hooves for feet. He wielded a massive battle axe that was almost larger than the monster that wielded it. Spells were slung from Temerity and Pavel. Lore of the Eldritch Truth came wild from Temerity as he fired off his Eldritch Blast, his Hex spell, and even a Witch Bolt. Pavel's holy flames contrasted this. A magical ward seeped through Korin's armour, shield, and sword, imbuing her with holy power, while other divine flames came and struck the beast. Frost fired an arrow, which covered in thorns as it flew, and as it made contact with the Lamb of Chaos, it spread thorns throughout its body, causing great pain. The pain made it angry. The anger made it careless. It charged towards Korin and brought its battle axe down on her. It was amazing that her shield and her strength took the blow, but it did. She slashed at its leg, and then another, cutting and cutting deeper and deeper with every blow. More arrows flew from the rear, piercing its skin while spells smashed into it. It could take no more. It charged past Korin towards Temerity. However, Temerity was ready, and as the battle axe was about to make contact, it split apart, becoming molten in the beast's hand. It dropped it and saw a terrifying sight. Temerity's eyes were burning with fire, as were his nostrils, ears, and mouth. He raised his hands and fire pulsated out of the beast. It roared and then fell dead. Some say that our brave party closed the flame of chaos for good. Others say that Temerity harnessed the power of the flame, creating a spell from its remnants. No one will truly know what actually happened, but we do know that the party survived and the army of Uthros was triumphant against the Chaos Scourge. Many had lost their lives, but it was for a cause too great to be missed. The party's next step was the capital city of the Kingdom of Uthros, Stoneshore. But of course, you've heard enough for today. When you deem yourself ready, return to the inn, and I shall tell you another tale. Until then, take care, adventurer.